be here? Okay, great. So this is a time when you pull out your laptop. Remember we said we'd be doing some programming. You didn't receive the memo? I'm joking with you. It won't. All right, thanks, guys. If you came here to learn deep technology, I'm sorry I'll be disappointing you because I'll be touching on the essential skills and I'll paint a picture of what digital transformation looks like because I only have 20 minutes, so I'll try to condense that. Then Alinani and Frank will go deeper in our breakout sessions. So let's kick it off very quickly. Right, let's just get to know about me, right? So I do boxing, so I'm an avid boxer. If you're interested, see me after this event. In my spare time, I jump off some bridges, so that's something I do. If there are no bridges, I play with lions. So, but don't be alarmed, right? So this sounds very... I'm also an avid lover of technology and digital transformation. That's the reason why I'm here. And I'm the Chief Information Officer. But I'm sure they're wondering, how did you hire this crazy guy? All right, so let's kick it off. Like I said, technology, we talk about technology a lot. And we forget to actually align with what my colleague talked about, right? And this is where I'm going to start from. Like, as an individual, as a man, you need to understand what the passion is. What are you passionate about? What do you love to do as an individual, right? I will not go deeper in this, but I'm just leaving these questions to you because this is what determines your compass. And the second piece is around mission. Whatever organization you're working for, what is their mission? The society where you live, what is the mission, right? The church where you go to, what's the mission? So when you attach what you're passionate about with the mission, what you get is vocation. You get paid for doing what you love. But how many of you actually know what you love or what your passion is? Then finally, it's just around profession. So attaching everything else, you need to understand the areas or the gaps that you need to fill in, right? What do you aspire for? What is your capacity to actually live up to what you aspire? What impact do you want to drive in your society? And once you identify that, it will then lead you to your areas of improvement, which you then attach to the mission, right? And remember, you're running this thing that you love really the most, and then you get paid for it. It will never feel like a job, right? You'll be doing what you love, and you'll be doing it with all your heart. So I want you to just have this as we dive into the next slides. And the fulcrum of everything is values. He asked the question, how many of you actually know your values? And I'll tell you, at least I'm proud I know I have 7 values so far. And every day when I go home, I ask myself, when last did I act with courage? KPIs, you need to measure. So if you continue asking yourself and you can't even remember when you last lived this value, just know that you lied to yourself. You probably admire someone who has those values that you want to live, and they are not yours. So find time to discover your own values. Because if you look at my values and then you embrace them, you become my replica, and you will never be genuine, you'll never be credible, you'll never be authentic. So again, I'm adding to what he asked. Ask yourself, what are your values? And one tip I'll give you is, anything that agitates you, you hate it when you see people abusing people, right? Maybe compassion is your value. So the flip side of it is your value. So I just wanted to give you one tip that you can use to actually delve into the values. Let's get into the deep end now as we get into the technology, right? Technology is an essential part of us now. We've integrated with technology, and every man should have these skills. And the reason why, I just want to give you a few statistics from the banking perspective. What you're seeing here is like ATMs. You remember when ATMs came? Like, it was a big thing. You would go to ATMs, you're waiting for your father to withdraw and they're getting paid, These are the volumes and the values. And again, I will not go and workshop this because we don't have enough time. And then point of sale machines came, right? So we saw a quantum leap into the point of sale machines, right? But watch the last part. That is mobile money. Mobile money just came and took over Zambia. This is true in Kenya as well. If you've gone to Kenya, M-Pesa, you can't do anything without M-Pesa. So now the money has moved into that space because there is interoperability between banks and MNOs, right? So why am I painting this picture? Recently, CFO, you shared some interesting statistics. Like just last year, we saw in excess of 457 billion in terms of value quarter transactions last year, right? In mobile money. This year alone, quarter one, we've exceeded what we saw last year, the whole year. And then you're asking yourself, what is happening here? Who is tapped into this national financial switch? So you have your fintechs, you have people now innovating and getting into this ecosystem. So those are the people who know where the money is currently. And with digital skills, you put yourself in a place where you can then attach your vocation to where this is happening. So who knows what will happen next year? Maybe we'll hit $1 trillion in a month. This is where we are going. So I just wanted to show a few disruptors, right? Yeah, and it's not a mistake. So these are some of the disruptors, right? Yango, Flutter, Uber, F&B. What is the common denominator here? He's saying money. You're right. But the common denominator here is that these sell convenience. It's not even about the technology, right? It's about convenience. Who knows who brought the first wallet to Zambia? How many of you know? You can say louder. F&B brought the wallet to Zambia, right? E-wallet. And we showed that this can work. And now MNOs jumped on it, right? We were the pioneers. We disrupted the industry. Now, there is a lot more going on around the e-wallet. Yango, when it comes, does Yango own cars? Does Yango own drivers? Does Yango actually have restaurants? Does Yango have garages? What Yango has is a platform, and they sell convenience. You see? So, when you look at the disruptors, there's so many more of them, is that they sell convenience using platform and technology as an enabler. So I want you to look at technology not as an end in itself. Technology skills or digital skills are not an end by themselves. You need to identify what the mission is, what the problem is in your society. Now, solving it is where now you apply the technology, right? So very quickly, let me just share the top 5 companies in the whole world. Yeah? Who knows Satya Nadella? He's a CEO for Microsoft. Second, Tim Cook, Apple. Right? Third, Johnson, NVIDIA. So they do microchips and they're in quantum computing. Then you have Andy Jassy, Amazon. Right? Amazon Web Services. And now you have Google or Alphabet, Sanda. It's not coincident that these technology companies are top in the world. Again, the question I pose is, why do you think they're making so much money and they're top in the world? It's not that they're technology, it's that they solve real problems using technology as a platform. So we need to get that right. It's not about you going to do Python, you start programming stuff. It's understanding what the problems are and solving for the real problems in the society. So now, having given that background, why do we need digital skills? Very quickly, number one, digital skills are not even the future. They are the now, right? So AI is no longer a distant thing. Everybody is using AI. If you're not using AI, someone is using AI on you to actually profile you so that you become an asset to them or a statistic where they make money from because they understand you better. They're using AI on you. So how are you adopting the AI skills, right? Cybersecurity. Cybersecurity, we are now living in a world that is interconnected. If somebody steals your phone, they can wipe out your entire account. They can do all sorts of things. They can harm your relatives, and just a number. It just used to be something that we used to send SMS. Today, your entire ecosystem is connected to that number. So now cybersecurity has changed. Even now questioning the relationships. Previously, I would share my PIN with my wife. It was a form of trust. Today it's difficult because of social engineering. People will use my wife to actually hack me and eventually even get into F&B because I have my app and everything I do is linked to this phone. So how much of awareness do we have around cybersecurity? You running small companies and fintechs is what is known as the cybersecurity poverty line. You are linked into this big ecosystem. Big entities like F&B can pay and invest millions into cybersecurity, right? You can't even get an antivirus, but you're part of the ecosystem. So when you're hacked, the entire ecosystem gets compromised. So the system thinking now comes into play. It's not just about you alone. So when you get compromised, you can compromise the entire system. Empowerment, I've already talked about this. Like you have to empower yourself with digital skills for you to become an enabler. Creativity and innovation, solutioning. I've already spoken about this. I recently met an intelligent guy from Soweto. He's built an app called Bag and Bay. He saw a problem in society and he said, what about people jumping onto an app and just ordering stuff from Soweto instead of going through the hustle and bustle of that? And now he's got a lot of clients, and I learned that through my wife. She would just order and then a young girl comes home and they deliver everything from Soweto. Think about it. This guy is making money very silently. He built a system. He's very much Zambian. He's not even using anyone from outside. Digital skills. And guess what? He's a grade 12. He's never done any IT. He baffled me, but he was driven by passion. He saw a problem. He wanted to solve it. Resources come when you have vision. Most of us go to look for money and then want to look for problems later or business. Look for a problem, find a solution, and then get money. It will always come your way. Okay, so let me just go on the timeline of digital skills. 2015, there was a lot around basic web development, right? 2016, it moved into app development. 2017, cloud computing adoption, data science, around 2018. 2019, AI now started coming in, with machine learning. Then remote work. You remember what happened around 2020, right? The biggest digital transformation accelerator is not your CIO, it's not your CEO, it was COVID, guys. It actually accelerated a lot of things. Now we are in this digital space where we work from home, we can get on Teams and on Zoom. And then 2021, cybersecurity awareness, because now we went in a space where we were not familiar and we didn't know. The same way that when you send your child to the market, you send them with someone who's elderly to look after them, right? Today, we look at the cyberspace as a different space, but it's the same. You allow your children to get to the market unsupervised. You don't know who's harming them, you don't know what's happening in there. So cybersecurity awareness becomes very critical to us as men, business owners, but as parents as well. How close are you to your kids? Do you know what they're doing when they are on those gadgets, right? Very critical. 2022, the rise of no-code tools. Now you don't need a geek who knows programming to do. Companies do not have time for that. They want to move to market. They want to take the value very quickly. So no-code, architecture, understand how things are moving, and just drag things and drop, and they are working, right? So that's the space where you want to be. 2023, 2024, generative AI, right? So generative AI, ChatGPT, how many of you have used this? Okay, Copilot, okay, great. So you will delve deeper in the breakout session. So those are some of the skills that you want to look into. Quantum computing is the rate at which we are adopting the AI, right? So machines are now smaller because we want to generate more. So there's demand on computers to be faster. So when we look at a country like Zambia, how are we doing to play in this area? What minerals do we have around the chips? Because this is how we contribute to that. Are we aware, of where quantum computing is today? So when we start computing at a faster pace, we can solve a lot of problems today. What scientists took 20 years to actually come up with new proteins, now it took them 2 days, and they got an award for it because of AI and quantum computing. But the reverse is also true. If you can compute faster for business or for solutions, even the bad actor can compute faster now to harm you and attack you. So we have to be very careful around this. This is a very interesting page for me as I was thinking, putting this together. The real skills, when you really think about it, beyond all this technology and digital skills, is one, critical thinking. Do we think critically when we see misinformation or disinformation on the internet, right? So, because there's a lot of things happening, and if we fail to apply that, guys, we're going to lose it all. So, critical information will ever remain critical. Emotional intelligence, creative communication, system thinking, I talked about, and an ethical foresight. Because this AI can actually be biased, to segregate against maybe an ethnicity or some tribe or some group, depending on the learning data or information that you're training this AI with. So how close are we as men here to what is happening in this space? So we will delve deeper again in the breakout sessions, right? So finally, I just want to share some places where you can take a screenshot, because we don't have a lot of time here. These are free sources where you can go to and start learning these things. Consistency above intensity. What you do on a daily basis actually determines where you get. So they say Atomic Habits, James Clear says we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems and processes. So it's the habits, atomic habits on a daily basis, build the neural paths in your head for you to get here. So please, just take a photo of this, and then we can carry on a conversation as a mentor. I just want now to end with a very short experiment. How much time do I have? 3 minutes? Okay, cool. All right, so this is what I like doing, because I love science. So I like experiments. And because I'm in technology now, having had an opportunity to do a lot of experiments, I always incorporate this in my presentation. So I'll end with this. These are bottles of water, right? Yeah. Don't worry, I'm not wasting. I store them from home, so it's not here. Okay, so I need a volunteer very quickly. One volunteer. Okay, cool. You've got good people. You have a phone? Yeah, open your timer. So guys, I want you to pay attention, right? I'll just pour out the water. This is what I'm going to do. So let's go. You ready? Okay. If we lose time, it's his fault.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
I don't know where my timer is.
Okay. Anyone, it's just the timer. Okay, you will? Okay, cool. So let's go. I'll pour out this water. One, start the timer.
Stopwatch.
Okay, stopwatch. Let's go. Start. Okay, how long did it take?
8 seconds.
8 seconds. Someone to record the 8 seconds. Okay, so I'll pour the same water from the same bottle. Now I'll like sweep it a little bit, right? And then let's take the time. You will start, okay? How long did it take?
5 seconds.
5 seconds. The first one took what? 8 seconds, right? It's the same bottle, by the way. Now I'm going to use a straw and just do something like this. How long did it take?
2 seconds.
2 seconds. Right. Science does not lie. Men in this room, right? I need to see you. Science does not lie. So the lesson to be carried from here is that this is life. This is our lives, guys. Like, this is our systems. This is our society. We face the same bottlenecks. It's not about removing the bottlenecks. It's about finding flow within the same bottlenecks, right? It's the same bottle, same water, but because of the different techniques that are applied, we move from 8 to 5 to 2. So you have no excuse to say, I don't have anyone to sponsor me, I don't have a mentor, I don't have what. It's the same experience. It's how you move, right? And whilst you're here, I want to end with this again. This is the last one. Right? Salita. Okay. I don't smoke, by the way. I don't inhale as well. So I'm going to throw this guy in water, in the same water. Okay? HH is watching. What has happened? It's off. This is a representation of our traumas as men, the things we go through. People who told us that we can't make it. We've drowned to a level where we can't light up, right? Okay. It's lighting up. It's resilient. It's resilient. Okay. So, the lesson here is that this lighter is actually producing the gas, right? Except there's water. So, when you bring the other lighter, then it comes up, right? So, what's the lesson here, guys? It doesn't matter where you are in terms of a person, you're depressed, you're in the deep, you feel like you're not good enough to have the digital skills and any other skills. All you need is another person to light you up. So I pray that at the end of this event, you will be that one person that provides that light to the spark that has dwindled because someone was submerged in water. Light them up. Thank you very much.